Aloha! Today you'll need 2 blocks and 2 straps. We're going to start standing and then we'll make our way down to the floor and probably back up again. To start, find mountain pose. Lift your toes, root down at the base of your toes, your heels. Lengthen all the way up through the crown of your head. Take your hands to your hips. Find that length. Bring your toes on down. Bring your palms together over your heart. Press your palms in towards each other. Lift the fingers away from each other, still keeping the base of the fingers, the base of the palms, all the palms, that whole circular area, rooting down. Lift your toes again. So ground down to lift up. Press in to reach out. Lengthen your fingers, bring your toes down, bring your fingers back together. Let the fingertips touch. Take your arms on down. Mountain pose. Let your eyes open. Take your feet a little bit wider. Warming up big joint of our hips, hip circles. Take your hips forward, to the right, and back, and around. So that's the basic one, which I think most of you know. Make it a little slower. Notice where your spine goes. When your hips go one direction, spine goes another direction. That's a good differentiation of movement. And then switch directions. Bring your feet a little closer together. Let's reach the fingertips down, down, down. Firm the shoulder blades. Take your arms out to your side. From the center of your sternum, reach wide. Take the arms out like a cactus. So we get into the shoulder joint a little bit more. Shoulder blades a little bit more. Feel the shoulder blades firm along your back. And then turn your head to the right. Check that your elbow's in line with your shoulder. Come back to center. Turn your head to the left. Elbow in line with shoulder. Come back to center. Tip your elbows a little forward. Forearms a little bit back. Hold. I want you to get into that feeling of the shoulder blades. And then reach your arms nice and wide from the space between your shoulder blades. Turn your head to the right. Back to center. Turn your head to the left. Back to center. Bring your hands to your hips. Take your legs wide. And from the thigh bone, turn your left leg in, turn your right leg out. Keep your hands on your thighs. Turn the right leg in, left leg out. Go back and forth a few times. There was a previous class where we did some of these kinds of movements throughout the whole class. We spent a lot of time. I think it was circles and folds. So if you like this, but you don't want to do it so fast, that's a good class to go back to. So we're going to go through this fairly quickly till we get to the next part. So now, left leg in, right leg out, bend the front knee, and come back up. Again, getting some hip opening, up and down. So Virabhadrasana 2 position, Warrior 2 position in movement. And over to the other side, right leg in, left leg out, bending and straightening. And then turn the left leg in, walk or hop your feet together and get a strap. One strap for now. Take the strap, hold it behind your back, and find mountain pose, hips over heels. No bananas. The bananas are actually a little further over there, but not right here. No bananas right here. Draw your chin back, reach your shoulder blades down, and then begin to take your arms up. Now, when you get to your point of restriction, just when you stop, without moving your neck, without moving your head, lift your eyes up. And notice that might affect your mobility there. Mine is quite drastic, the difference. You might not have yours as drastic, but you might feel it. So Eyes up, shoulder blades are the muscles are on them squeezing. And then take your arms on down. And reach the shoulder blades down towards the floor, towards the ground. Lengthen your head all the way up towards the ceiling. And then let's take the strap, just take it around your shoulders for a moment. A little proud peacock. Interlace your fingers behind your head, reach your elbows away from each other, and then begin to lengthen your neck up a little as you keep reaching your elbows away from each other. Breathe. Good. And then release your hands, grab a hold of your strap. Take the strap between your thumb and forefinger. On your inhalation, take the strap up. Reach from the feet. Grounding down, you reach up, up, up. Breathe. Wiggle your jaw a little side to side. And then from here, take your right arm a little down towards the ground. Lengthen up through the left side of your rib cage. So it's not side bending, I'm just moving the arm to get more length up. I'm holding the strap pretty taut. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Come back up. Same thing second side. I'm going to not do it as intensely on this side for me, but you'll decide what's right for you. So feet grounding. Use the left hand to help lengthen the right side. Then bring the strap back to center. On your exhalation, take the strap down as you encourage your spine to lengthen up. And then next inhalation, take the strap up again. And as you exhale, take the strap behind your back, keeping stability in the center. So we're accessing our shoulder blades. Often we start class on the ground to do this, but today I wanted to start standing. Different way to access these parts of the body. And then if there's a sticky spot, spend a little more time in that sticky spot. Up and down. And release the strap. Put it off to the side. Take your arms wide from the space between the shoulder blades. Reach. And then take your left elbow over your right. Cross at the elbows. Garudasana arms. Wrap the forearms around. Lift the elbows a little bit. Breathe. And then unwind, release. And second side. If you just heard a sound that sounded like a horse, it was a horse. I don't know when the sound kind of goes brrr. There's a horse on the other side of the fence. Okay. Arms wide, and let's fly a little from the shoulder blades. A little movement there. And then circle your shoulders. And as you're circling your shoulders, make your way onto the ground, onto all fours. Come onto your hands and knees. Have 2 blocks under your knees. And if you have a squishy mat, make sure your wrists are not on it. If you have a flat mat, no squishiness, it's fine to have your hands on the mat. Spread your fingers. Strongly take your shoulder blades away from your ears. And take a look at your hands. So you have a gentle spread of the fingers. Have your index fingers parallel to each other today. And then root down very strongly in the index finger. So you're pressing the base of the index finger very strongly, this part, down into the ground to let the grounding down lift up all the way up into your inner arms. Then let your head drop. Bring your chin towards your chest. Make a little traction there. Keep your head released down. Root down at the base of the thumb forefinger and externally rotate your arms from above your elbows. So I want you to feel into the shoulder blades. Be careful about the ribs dropping. I continue to have to catch myself with that. Getting better, but still. All right, then move your left hand a little over to the right. Keep the base of the thumb and forefinger firm. Draw up on the inner arm. Take your right hand onto your sacrum and open the chest up to the right. Don't lose the hand. Now, those of you who tend to, if you are one of the people who tend to have a lot of mobility in your elbow joint, and you feel like when you're here, you just jam into it, you can bend the elbow a little bit backwards. As you do that, keep the arm still in its external rotation. One more inhalation here. On your exhalation, unwind. Place your right hand onto the ground. Same thing, root down the base of the thumb, forefinger, shoulder blade away from the ear, and begin to spiral. One more inhalation. On the exhalation, unwind. Tuck your toes under. Extend your right hand, extend your left hand, puppy pose, even being on the blocks. Use your hands very wisely. So those awesome armpits stay aloft. They rise with alacrity. Press down at the base of the thumb and forefinger. There's a sense of lift under the armpits, even as you're reaching back. No sinking here. Lift your sit bones up. Get a little more of the lumbar curve. And then walk your hands back for a little Scarabasana. So, again, shoulder blades away from the ears. Let your head down and bring your shoulder blades towards each other and away from each other. Again, towards each other, away from each other. Up and down. Come back to neutral. Walk your left hand a little bit over towards the right. Firm the shoulder blade on the left side, just like we did before, a twist. So we're finding the strength in the hand to support the shoulder blade, which supports the spiraling of the spine. And then if it feels appropriate, take your right arm down first so it's in line with the shoulder, and then begin to lift it up. You can turn to look at the right arm as you keep that left hand firm. So there's a line of movement that grounds down with the left hand, goes all the way up to the right fingertips. We unwind. Place the right hand where the left hand was. Bring the left hand onto your sacrum. Nice inhalation. Exhale. Find the spiral. And then again, option to stay here, or place the left arm in line with the shoulder and then bring it up into the twist. I'm not going to take it as far on this side. One more inhalation. Exhale, unwind, release. Puppy pose again. Very active arms. Press down with the hands. Reach back with the hips. And then walk your hands back in the direction of your feet. Take your knees off the block. Put the blocks off to the side. Take a child's pose. Let your shoulder blades release. Longer exhalations. And it's time for downward facing dog. I'm going to hold on to the edges of the mat. You can hold on to the edges of the mat or root your hands down. Tuck your toes under. Lift your knees up. Send them back. And then move towards straightening your legs. Once you're there, bend. Good. Bend your right knee. Reach through the left leg. Bend the left knee. Reach through the right leg. Go a few times back and forth. And then root down with the base of the toes. Lift your hips up. And then slowly lower them, your heels towards the ground. And child's pose. Let the shoulder blades release. And inhale, come back up to sitting. We'll do another downward facing dog. If your shirt goes a-flying, you might want to tuck it in. I'm demonstrating that. All right. This time, have your hands on the ground. I'm going to take them off the mat, but on the ground. Tuck your toes under, knees up, send your hips back. And feel into the shoulder blades. Bend your elbows a little bit. As you bend the elbows, encourage your forearms to be parallel. You might bend your knees as you do this. A little easier to pay attention to that. And then re-extend the arms. Re-extend the legs. And come into a plank. Have your shoulders over your hips. Root down with the hands. Lengthen through your heels. Breathe. And then make your way back into downward facing dog. And child's pose. Inhale, come up to sitting. Circle your shoulders a few times. And come back into downward facing dog and move towards Vashistasana. Now, if your wrists are not feeling like they are good, that it's not good to use your weight on your wrist, you can be on your forearms. Let's do something to prepare for that first. So everyone, it's good for us all. Get a block and put it between your hands and come onto all fours with the block between your hands. Make sure you can see me. All right, now here, press your palms into the block. Bring the forearms down your back. Have your shoulders a little bit behind your elbows. Oh, we have a visitor. Can you see our visitor? This is Amelia. Not sure why she's out and about. It's a little early for her to be out and about, but she's out and about. Anyways, forearms root down. Let your head release. And then turn your palms to face up, keeping the shoulder blades away from the ears. Good. And then bring your palms back to the block. And transition a moment, child's pose. Let your arms release again. And come on up to sitting. So Vashistasana is the position, I haven't done this I think in my video classes yet, where you have your hand on the ground. It's side plank. And there's a lot of different ways to get into it. But the important thing is that when you ground down, you need to lift up. So like when we did that twist earlier, the grounding down to lift up. But if this is too much pressure on your wrist, I'd like you to come down onto your forearm. So it's a little bit different action in the shoulder blades, but that's what I'd like you to be on your forearm. We're going to come into it from downward facing dog. So come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, tuck your toes under, lift your knees up, send your hips back, 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 back. Then, starting with your right side, walk your right foot over to the left and begin to shift your hips. As you do this, take your left foot a little forward. We're not going to put our whole weight on the body yet. I want you to just feel the weight here. If you're doing on your forearms, you shift to your forearm. Root down with your right hand. Firm the shoulder blade. This leg is helping support some of the weight. Maybe take your left arm on up. And then unwind. come back to downward facing dog. And second side. So second side, turn onto the outer edge of your left foot. Keep the left hand very firm. Take your left foot forward. Right foot forward. Left hand firm, right foot forward as you open up. Right arm up in the air. Breathe. Come back, unwind, your choice, downward facing dog or child's pose. We're going to do this one more time. This time I'll give you the option to do it with the feet on top of each other. So begin to shift your right foot, come onto the outer edge of the right foot, and then take your left foot on top of the right foot. Left arm comes up. Rooting down with the bottom hand to lengthen up. Fingers together or fingers apart or some variation. And then unwind. Back into downward facing dog. I just want to acknowledge there's a few variations of how to come from dog. Some people like to come to plank first. Today we're just coming from dog without doing a lot of shifting in the weight. So come onto the outer edge of your left foot. Bring the right foot on top. Play with the balance. And then unwind. Back into downward facing dog. Lift your heels. Take your sit bones up and back. Slowly lower your heels back to the ground. And child's pose. Inhale, come on up. Now is the time to get 2 straps. Do a little bit more to open up the hips. Then we're going to come back to Vashistasana. So today, 2 straps. I'd like you to make a loop with one of the straps. If you don't have 2 straps, you'll just skip this part. So you make the loop. Take the strap around both feet. Have your feet about hips distance apart. Bring the strap to your right hip point. Bring your right knee into your chest. Supta Padangustasana with the straps. This is part of the Fun with Straps booklet that's still in process, but getting there. So when you have the strap around the foot, it helps keep the hips more level, even with each other. Swing the other strap around your foot. Take your leg on up. So if you don't have 2 straps, just come into good old classic Supta Padangustasana. If you've got that second strap, press the left foot to give a little traction at the top of the thigh. And breathe. Foot into strap, strap into foot, shoulder blades down your back. Let your jaw soften. Take both ends of the strap into your right hand. Externally rotate your leg. Bend your right elbow. Place your right upper arm on the ground as you take your right leg out to the side. And then inhale the right leg back up. Bend the right leg. And release. Feel your legs next to each other. All right, second side. I like to switch the strap around. And take the loop to the left hip point. Bring the knee into the chest. Swing the strap around the foot. Left leg comes up. Reach through the heel, strap into foot, foot into strap. Press through the right leg to open up in the left. Take both ends of the strap into your left hand. Left leg goes over to the side. Elbow bends. And then bring the left leg back up. Bend the knee. Release the strap. Whoa, that's a little challenging today. All right, there we go. Exhale. Take the strap between thumb and forefinger and take a moment, reach your arms overhead. Keep the ribs steady as you go. Reach through the heels, open up space between the toes, then open up the fronts of the ankles. Reach through the heels again. And then release. Make your way however you want to get there. You can Tetrasana your way there or any way you want to get there to downward facing dog. Let it be a playful dog. Move around a little. Bend one knee. Bend the opposite knee. Breathe. And then bring your feet forward between your hands. Stay there if it feels like it's a good place for you to be. If not, come up. Take a moment, mountain pose. I'm coming up. Forward bending is not great for scoliosis. It can feel like a relief, though, at the same time. So those of you in forward bend, bring your hands to your sacrum. Inhale, come on up. So everyone would take a moment in mountain pose, feet grounding, spine lengthening. Okay, and then put the straps to the side and get 2 blocks. Put the blocks at the highest level. And take your feet wide. Back to big asana. From the center, reach out. Roll your arms so your palms face up. Come to that cactus again. Turn to look at the right. Back to center. Turn to look at the left. Back to center. Take your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. If it works for you to bring the palms touching, go ahead and have the palms touching. If not, no worries. Shoulder blades go down. Begin to lift your arms up. Keeping the torso steady. You'll feel squeezing the shoulder blades. Go ahead and take your eyes up and notice if that changes the position of your arms. Release your arms on down. Hands on your hips. Let's go a little side to side. Bend the right knee and bend the left knee. As you do this, encourage your feet to stay parallel for now. As long as this is okay on your knees. If it doesn't feel good on your knees, shift the position of the feet. To side to side, spine nice and long. Now, can you switch it up a little by moving the knees without lifting the pelvis? So you may have noticed before when I was going back and forth, you can see my whole torso is lifting up and down. That's one way to do this, fine way to do it. But another way is to shift the movement so it's just the thighs and the knees, but there's no lift and lowering of the hips. A little bit different. Okay, now the next time you bend your right knee, turn the right toes out and come a little lower. Reach long through the back leg. Maybe walk the back leg a little further back, coming into warrior 2 position. Take your arms on up. Look out over your right arm. Let's come back up. Bring your hands to your hips. Other direction. Right leg in, left leg out. Bend the knee. Warrior 2. Come back up. Turn the left leg in. Hinge forward. Bring your hands onto the blocks. Lengthen the spine. Thigh bones press back. Spine lengthen forward. Walk your hands forward. Lengthen the spine. Walk your hands back under your shoulders. And now, as much as possible, keep your feet parallel. If you need to, take them off a little side, but I'd like you to bend the right knee, come up, and then bend the left knee. Back and forth, slowly, to start with. And again, let's do first where we let the pelvis lift up, so it creates a little bit of an arc, a little bit of a rainbow shape with your movement. We're drawing the rainbow. Maybe there'll be a rainbow later because it's raining here. But now, let's play with going side to side. No rainbow. So it's movement of really very much movement of the thigh bones. The ankles are participating as well. And then the next time you come over to the right, stay there for a moment, and then we're going to take it into a lunge. So you'll turn your left leg in. As you do that, walk the block, lift the left heel, turn the right toes to the short end of the mat, and voila, you are in a lunge. Reach long through your back heel, very, very long. Now, with your hands on the blocks, firm the shoulder blades, lengthen your spine. And then let's come back through center. Take the block under your right hand, bring it to the inside of your right foot. Pivot the feet. Go over to the other side, right leg in, left leg out, back into the lunge. Long through the back heel, lengthen your spine. Breathe. Here's an opportunity to wiggle the jaw a little, back and forth. Little stacking. Right, you can begin to, once you become comfortable with one movement, you can add other movements onto it. Especially those of you doing Z-Health exercises, sometimes you find that put yourself in a yoga position and do an eye movement, do a vestibular movement. Right, begin to straighten front leg if you don't know what I'm talking about. And you keep watching, you'll see me doing those things in other classes. Let's come other side. Left leg in, right leg out. Back into the lunge. Now, here in this lunge, we're going to take it into side angle pose. So, press down very firmly with your right hand into the block. As you do that, pivot your left heel onto the floor. Take your left hand onto your sacrum. So you're opening up the chest. Now, I'd like you to focus on rooting down the hand into the blocks. It's similar to Vashistasana. That action is similar to the side plank where you press the palm down, lift the arm up, and let's take the arm up. To start with, final version of the pose, maybe you know his arm comes up and over. Nice long reach, breathe. One more inhalation, exhale, unwind. As you unwind, release the back heel. Take a moment in the lunge. And then let's transition to the other side. Turn the right leg in, left leg out. Find the lunge. Long reach through the right leg, long reach through the spine. Firm the left palm as you do that. Pivot. Right heel comes onto the floor. Right hand onto your sacrum. Pay attention to the grounding, the rooting of the left hand. The left hand to help reach through the right arm. And then maybe, I'm not going to take my arm over, but maybe that works for you. Take your right arm on over. One more inhalation. On the exhalation, unwind. Turn the left leg in. Walk the blocks back to center. Press your thigh bones back. Walk your hands forward. Reach your hips backwards. Wide-legged dog pose. If it feels good to take your hands lower, you might take them off the blocks. Come onto your fingertips. Get the length in your spine. Right, and then walk your hands back and either walk or hop your feet towards each other. Lengthen the spine here, then bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come up. Take a moment. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Breathe. Let's come back to the shoulders again, into the cactus. Elbows, same height as shoulders. Turn to the right to check that out. Come back to center. Turn to the left. Check that out. Back to center. Tip the elbows a little forward. Right. And then take a little walk around. And as you walk around with your elbows up, just a little walk. Can you keep the shoulders firm as you do? You know, you're not going to walk around like this most of the time, but just for this moment. Then, turn your palms to face each other and turn your palms to face up. Keep the shoulder blades firm, very firm. So this is as if you're holding up 10 pounds of zucchini in your right hand and 10 pounds of squash in your left hand. Which one is heavier? Isn't zucchini a kind of squash? Trick question. All right, and then release. Roll your shoulders a few times. Good. Find mountain pose. I'd like you to feel the feet to get the length in the spine and the shoulder blades firm. So as you keep your shoulder blades firm, begin to hinge at your hips. Take your sit bones back towards Utkatasana, just with the legs, and then press down with the feet, straighten back up. And again, hips back, thighs bend. This time, hold for a moment, reach the fingers down as well. So you're in the pose, the shape of a lightning bolt. Press down with the feet, come back up. Bring your palms together over your heart. Press the palms in towards each other. Firm the shoulder blades. Take your hands by your side again, reaching the fingertips. Coming towards that Utkatasana. But from there, I'd like you to fold forward. Bring your hands onto the mat. Come into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, make your way into Vashistasana. Come onto the outer edge of the right foot. Or come onto your forearm. Listen to your body. Find the balance, rooting down with the hand, lengthening up in the arm. Take the other arm on up. And then unwind. Back into downward facing dog. Second side, come onto the outer edge of your left foot. Spiral around. Take the right arm on up. And then unwind. Your choice, dog pose or child's pose. And then everybody, child's pose. Exhale, release. Come up to sitting. Tuck your toes under. And have the blocks within reach. We'll get to them in a little bit. Bring your knees off the floor. And then lift your hips. Take a moment, let your spine release with your knees bent. If it feels appropriate for you, move towards straightening your legs. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come up. Roll the shoulders. Bring your blocks to the front of the mat. The mat being wide, the wide way. And take your legs wide. Take your arms wide. Reach. Again, bring your hands to your hips. Hinge forward. Bring your hands onto the blocks. Let's do a little twisting again. To the right. So bring your left hand a little bit over to the right. Spread your fingers, root down with the hand. Keep the hips steady. The opening comes from the chest. So there's a big tendency to shift the hips. I'm doing it now to show you the difference, where it feels like you're getting a bigger twist, but you're actually skipping the spine and just moving the hip joints around. So keep the hips steady. It's pretty challenging. And open the chest over to the right. Let your head turn in a way that feels appropriate. Breathe. One more inhalation. And then exhale, unwind. Second side. Take the block under your right hand. Ground down. Left hand in the sacrum. Open up the chest. Come on down. So we've done this just now to help build to the next thing we're going to do, which is coming back into the lunge, left leg in, right leg out. The birds are starting to chirp because the sun is coming out. So now you have come back into a lunge, right foot forward. From this lunge, we are going to go right into Vashistasana. I will describe it and demonstrate. And you can join me when you're ready. So you're going to come off the blocks, bring your left hand onto the ground, root down with the left hand, and then take the right leg back up into Vashistasana. Now the fun part is coming back into the lunge. So from here, you spiral the belly, the spine, and bring your right foot forward back into the lunge. Let's do that again. So left hand comes onto the ground. Rooting down with the hand to lift up into the arm. I'm going to come off the mat and shift to Vashistasana, side plank. Keep rooting down with the base of the forefinger and then shift back into the lunge. Good. All right, and then let's go back to the other side. So take the blocks with you. Turn your right leg in. Turn your left leg out. Come to the second side. Sometimes mats are great. Sometimes they get in the way. I'm going to move mine out of the way. Finding the lunge. Good. And then take your right hand onto the ground, spreading the fingers. Take the left leg over. Coming into Vashistasana. And then transition. It's a movement of many body parts together. Bringing the left leg forward as you spiral the spine. Long reach through the leg. One more time. Right hand roots down. Grounding down to lift up. Taking you back into Vashistasana. Left arm comes up. And then on an inhalation, bring the left foot, pivot the right foot back into the lunge. Hooray! And let's grab the blocks. Turn the left foot forward. Come back to wide-legged. And then your choice. It feels good to reach your arms out. Or you might, at this point, really like to let your spine release forward towards the ground. If your hands touch the floor, bring your hands parallel to each other, elbows parallel to each other. Grounding down with the feet. Let your spine release. Breathe. Then to come up, walk your hands a little forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come up. Walk or hop your feet together. Mountain pose. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Take your arms on up. Just a nice long reach. Interlace the fingers. Don't step into a divot. Feet grounding, spine lengthening. Release your fingers. Bring your palms together over your heart. Take a few breaths here. Release your arms. And from mountain pose, become the river going down the mountain. Move different parts. We've done a lot of movements fairly quickly, but most of them have been angular. So take some time to flow a little. Taking a little longer than I usually do, because after doing the angular movements, it feels really nice to do the more circular, more flowy movements. And then as you flow your way down, what's it like to flow, to stay a little bit at the mid-level? Or maybe a little lower? Can you flow here? Maybe you come into a little bit different shape as you do. You know, different places become a little harder to be graceful. All right, can you feel a feeling of grace in a squat? And then make your way all the way down to the floor. Go ahead, lie down on your back. Put the blocks off to the side. Just you in a comfortable place to lie down, feet on the floor. Rest your hands under your navel. Let your breath flow. And then take your arms out like a cactus. Lift your hips up a little bit. Take them over to the left. And slowly let the knees go to the right. Keep your feet apart. So a little bit of the Elvis quality to this twist. And then initiate the movement from your right leg to lift up. Exhale, go the other direction. Knees to the left, upper body to the right. And lift the knees back up. And it's time for Shavasana. Take your arms by your side, palms face up, extend your legs out onto the floor. Close your eyes. Let the breath flow. Let the flow of the breath guide you to Shavasana, to relaxation. And then, slowly and gently, bring your awareness back to your body, back to your breath. Bring a little movement to your fingers. Bring a little movement to your toes. Reach a little through your arms, reach a little through your legs. And then bend one knee at a time. Roll over to your side. And make your way back up to sitting. Let's bring our palms together over our heart. And may our movements support us to feel a greater sense of strength, agility, comfort, ease, joy, and freedom. Namaste. So today, you may notice class went a little bit faster, and sometimes I like to play with moving, finding transitions between movements, but before, I don't just jump into that, like with the Vashistasana, to make sure that we really have that firmness of the shoulder blades and the openness in the hips to be able to make that transition safely with good alignment and the ability to breathe while you're doing it so that ultimately we can really enjoy it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Aloha.